أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري وأتم لساني وقالي اجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. So inshallah we'll continue with the 17th word, second station of the 17th word. We were discussing about how crying at misfortune was one thing that human beings take as an attitude whenever something happens to us. Either you can take this, just cry over it, take it, not realize that it is coming from your Lord, and taking it as an opportunity to connect with your Lord. So trust in God was something we discussed last time, and just like the bird nightingale smile through your tears, he said that this is something that human beings also should be doing, because crying at the misfortune, because it's coming from your Lord, it's an education teaching you who you are as your reality. And then we were going to go over the next part of this particular section was about the "O arrogant one." So, "No, O arrogant one." So now, before it was more of a lamenting, crying one. Now it's more of a arrogant one. Happiness in this world is in abandoning it. O arrogant one, happiness in this world is in abandoning it. Of course, we need to discuss what that means. Abandoning the world, you're not, because we need the world to get to know who we are. So it's not really a literal meaning of abandoning it. We live in this world. So I think we'll get to that, inshallah. So happiness in this world is in basically not taking that, realizing this world is for a purpose. That's what I would think, but we'll talk about this a little bit more. To know God is enough. Oh, that's interesting. To know God is enough. Think about that, what that means, to know God is enough, because we keep talking about it. That's our purpose in existence, is to realize who our Lord is and connect to our Lord. We know this place is only for education, but let's see what to know God is enough. Abandon the world, all things will be for you. So abandon the world, all things will be for you. Interesting. So it goes along with how trust in God, what we spoke about last time also. Happiness in this world, of course, you cannot remain permanently happy in this world. We all realize that, we all know that. So get to know the source of this world. To know God is enough, abandon the world, all things will be for you. To be arrogant is total loss. To be arrogant is total loss. Whatever you do, all things will be against you. To be arrogant is total loss. I think just like in the crying out was a great error. So same thing in arrogance is total loss. Whatever you do, all things will be against you. whatever you do, all things will be against you. So both states demand abandoning the world here. So both states, from what I understand, being crying out and then being arrogant. So let's try to work on what arrogance is. What is the arrogant? Who is the arrogant one? Like, when is this attitude coming to us? I mean, crying, we talked about it, like hopelessness and crying out, just focusing on that events or something bad, seemingly bad that happened, as if it's the end of the world. And then the arrogant one, maybe more seeing, as the civilization tells you, in your self-sufficiency, be that individual that you can do whatever you want without the need of any support from your Lord, but just by yourself, you become an arrogant individual. So I would just run this by you, if you guys have some understanding of what arrogant one is, because we are all running for happiness in this world, but then happiness in this world is not to be found here. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
This kind of language which is used here needs to be understood with, how do you say, cautiously. Why? Because as if the author is talking about leaving the world, abandoning the world. But what we may miss here, the author is talking to arrogant one. He's not talking to human beings in total or in general, but the arrogant side of human beings the author is talking to. What's the arrogant side? Of course, everybody knows by heart that the Quran in the chapter Alaq, the first section of the Quran revealed, as it is historically claimed. Okay, the first or last doesn't matter really, but it is well known that when somebody sees himself self-sufficient, كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى. When he sees himself self-sufficient, he really becomes he turns into an arrogant human being. It means we have this side. So the author is speaking to this side, self-sufficiency. What does it mean? Is an extension of it. If I am self-sufficient, then the rest of every creature in the world, being in the world, must be self-sufficient for itself. That's why today's world, especially philosophers or magicians, which wear this scientist clothes, white robe, and whether they are called robe or what, this white clothes along, and put their goggles or eye covers in the lab. This appears to be a professional. It is just trick. Justify their interpretation of creation as everything self-exists. They don't need to be created. They are taking care of their own existence in such a perfect way, though amazing how unconscious things take care of themselves, but it happens. It is in their nature. It happened to be in this way. This is the best, maybe not the best, really, the most arrogant attitude that human beings extend their own inner world, inner feelings or choices to the universe, apply it to the universe, and make it a universal reality. And majority of the population of the world nowadays are swallowing that magical attitude. We have to do nothing but really combat with this attitude. How? In a rational, intellectual level, at an intellectual level. It cannot be possible. But today I was very disappointed seeing some Muslim groups talking about ours, unbelievable, ours, whether clapping is haram or makruh or not. What a horrible position the Muslim world is nowadays. We have to wake up what is going on in the world and what we should do. So wake up to this arrogant soul. So this arrogant soul needs what? No arrogant or arrogant thought. Happiness in this world is in abandoning it. What? We are going to abandon the world. If we abandon the world, how are we going to know the Creator? Now, as the word is seen, treated, accepted by the arrogant soul, it means arrogant attitude of the people, you have to leave it aside. If you don't abandon it, then you will lose everything, every human hope that you are carrying within your own feelings. So to know God is enough. So do you think that you know the universe, how it works? It brings nothing to you apart from arrogance or supporting their arrogant attitude. But if you know what they refer to, which is their Creator, if you know Him, that will be enough for your real human self, real self. So we have to understand in this way. Abandon the world as you see it. It means, arrogant soul, all things will be for you. If you say that everything owns itself, you will own nothing at all, including your own being, your own life. You will always experience that you are going to lose it, and the existence of the universe will bring no happiness to you. But if you know their source of existence, you will understand that the whole universe is for you, created for you. In order to benefit from it, in order to use it by acknowledging their Creator as to be the absolute being. So you yourself and the universe as well belong to the absolute being. So you will have no worry at all, and you will have the hope and expectations that this absolute being can definitely satisfy my need, which is created by Him. So this context completely changes now. Otherwise, leaving the world behind as it is understood by certain people doesn't match human nature at all, without taking the notes of arrogant soul addressed here. The arrogant soul is addressed, not human nature is addressed. So to be arrogant is total loss. Yes, exactly. Indeed, total loss. Whatever you do, all things will be against you. Here it is. The more you study, oh arrogant soul, arrogant side of human beings, whatever you find out in this world will be against you. Why? Everything is acting by itself, and you cannot even control, although you say everything is acting by itself, you cannot control your own reality, and you cannot act yourself, but you act only by obeying the will of the Creator as it manifests here in this world in the form of the order of the universe or creation. So both states demand abandoning the word here. It means not acknowledging God. You will be both states. I'm trying to understand the both is. I haven't thought about it. Why both states demanding the word here? They're not abandoning the word here. An idea?
I took both states as one is like being hopeless and crying. One is that, and then the arrogant part, maybe the egoistic side, as you're explaining. It's both
Yeah.
states of demand.
One is what? One is being arrogant, the other one?
I was thinking more of hopelessness and crying. Like the first part, I was seeing maybe
Crying, I say, crying because of hopelessness.
That's how I understood it.
Or maybe, yeah. So you don't cry. Now, you don't. If you leave aside your arrogance, you also release yourself from crying. But happiness is waiting for you. Unfortunately, that needs certainty. Certainty in belief. It means we have to take really belief aspect of every matter extremely seriously. The rest of the rest of our activities in this world will take care of themselves. Don't worry, because we cannot really stay here hungry. We have to work. Don't worry about it. For example, your friends, your children, I don't know, your relatives, whether they got the degree, they got this profession, etc., they are all irrelevant, worthless concerns. But belief, understanding, and how the universe is really witnessing and helping us, the creation, in order to understand our reality, benefiting from it, and also the prophetic message. They work together, so benefiting from the prophetic message without imitating it, by following the tradition or family tradition or cultural tradition, but really becoming aware of it. That is how happiness, security in future really is obtained. Otherwise, having the best profession, what are you going to do with it? You can buy a new car with it, and you may buy a house with a nice garden and flowers, etc. Okay, you can eat the best food as much as you think, but at the end you will suffer from overweight like me. That is what we are experiencing as the reality. Why do we bother? I don't understand. Why are we crazy about making a profession, making more money? Why are just work for it? It takes care of itself. Don't worry. Everybody takes care of this. They need encouragement in understanding the reality of our existence, whatever. So, abandoning the word here as the arrogant soul sees it. Abandoning the word is to regard it as God's property. Now, what does it mean abandoning the world is? Now, see that it is the property of it is creator, not yours, not themselves. They don't own themselves. I think we are here, so you can continue.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. So the pressures of civilization and society actually it promotes our ego boosting attitude actually. There's a lot of influence on why we are crazy in terms of going after the best profession, making more money, and all those are the values where we tend to forget what our real true purpose is. That's why we kind of need always these reminders and these kind of discussions. So yes, definitely abandoning the world is not to totally disregard it, but it is to see regarded as God's property with his permission. Interesting, with his permission in his name. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So regard everything that we are experiencing, going through as God's property and use it, engage with it with his permission in his name. So that's the definition of abandoning the world. So it's to regard the universe as God's property and with his permission, his name. If you want to do trade, it lies in making this fleeting life eternal. If you want to do trade, so there's a different kind of trade, of course, from this author or the Quran, how Quran presents the trade. It lies in making this fleeting life eternal. So make this fleeting life eternal. So these two are connected, of course, regarding the universe as God's property with his permission, his name, and that is what, once one engages and over-empowers that arrogant side of the human being, is one able to work on making this fleeting life eternal. So that is our education in this world. And that is what the definition of trade is. Okay, so I'll move on unless somebody wants to talk more on this particular aspect. Brother Ali, go ahead.
In summary of this, what are two sentences or last sentence you understood? It lies in making this fleeting life eternal. How do we do that? How can we do that? What I mean by it, how can I making this fleeting life eternal? Now, this is the main teaching of this section, the whole section, 17th word that we are reading. Seeing the eternity in the reality of the transient nature of this world. I can only summarize the 17th word, this section, in this sentence: seeing the reality, what truth is, by seeing the eternity within the transience nature of this world. Because the author, whether he said it here or somewhere else in this section, emphatically mentions that see the eternity in transience. That is what he briefly expresses this. See the eternity in transit. What does it mean? The world, everything is fleeting, transient, anytime. I am also fleeting, Anytime I am subject to change. I cannot stop myself from changing. But my existence continues. Oh, since I cannot stop my changing, and since I am not the source of my existence, and what is going on? So interesting. This is the reality of this world. My consciousness is forced to say or to realize that my existence continues, but I have no say on its continuity or changing. What is going on? Somebody is operating in its existence. So this somebody must be eternal because it's continuing. It is permanent, not transient. So because of the nature of this transience of the world, my consciousness easily grasp that the one who is the source of this universe, these beings, must be permanent. So easy. So, for example, let's say you are using something and you eat it. Let's say eat something. You eat it, something else comes. You eat it, another thing comes. You eat it, another thing comes. So whatever you are eating is transient, but the source or whatever the agent who gives another one must be durable, permanent. Of course, when you take this road, this path, you conclude that this permanent being is or must be absolutely permanent because of everything is subject to this reality. None of the things can have any say, any authority over their being, including most conscious human beings. We have no say about our existence. We are born with certain qualities. We cannot decide about anything, and we cannot stop ourselves from aging and dying. So we are helpless. We are helpless beings. But who is operating on me? That is what making this fleeting life eternal is only possible by seeing this reality. In the reality of fleeting nature of the world, we see the permanence of its source of existence. Inshallah. It's very easy. It is logical, and there is no belief. I believe in God, although I don't see it, I don't know, but I believe. That's not, let's say, I don't know how to say it. There's an expression, but I cannot translate it. And when I translate it into English, it doesn't make sense. So I gave up the idea. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. So from the transience, we can see eternity. It's a great concept, mashallah. So let's see if any of
the word trade is also a Quranic word. You all know that, eh? Trade.
Yeah,
This is
being.
فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم. تجارة. That's the trade. Their trade didn't give any profit, didn't produce any profit. because of this arrogant attitude. This is in Baqarah, I think in the second or third page. Yeah, it is on the third page of Baqarah, the last verse.
So we have a question here. What are we trading? So anybody wants to answer that?
Well, giving up our arrogance, submitting ourselves to its creator, and we are paid eternal happiness. So what a wonderful trade.
Yes, indeed. Beautiful trade. From the transience, we gain eternity, alhamdulillah, by doing this trade of giving up our arrogance, seeing who our Lord is, realizing we belong to Him, recognizing the changes, that whatever the aging we are going through is coming from Him. Yeah, most of the time we don't even think about those things. So we miss out on the using that transience to seek eternity. So beautiful trade that we need to do, inshallah. All right, any other comments from our friends? Let's move on then. If you seek yourself, I guess that's what arrogance would be. Seek yourself. It's all about me.
Follow your ego.
Yeah, the plain ego, whatever these so civilization kind of pushes on with all the things that they offer.
Try to be self-sufficient. Build a self-confidence.
The solutions that are provided in this world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Build a profession to guarantee your life, your future. Or trust in state. That whatever. It's endless things that we are immersed in nowadays.
If you seek yourself, it is both rotten, rotten and without foundation. If you seek the world outside, the stamp of ephemerality is upon it. So if one is yourself and the world outside you. So all the things in the universe or the civilization, the stamp of ephemerality, definitely transience is on it. Farah, go ahead.
Just a short comment. It's in the sayings of Imam Ali, like the idea that if you were to attach yourself, or let's say in this case, if I were to explain the word attach in another manner, if what you your experience of the world is limited to the material side of things or the transient side of things, then you along with your world will perish when that material side will perish. But if you were to attach or connect yourself or see, I guess, through your conscious engagement, the eternal source that is the the worldly experience being a manifestation of that eternal source, and your attachment is to the source, then even as the world perishes or the day passes by or whatever those expectations might be, you don't pass with them. And so it helps connect with the desire to also not wanting to perish or have my consciousness go into some sort of I know I feel the desire to want to continue to experience and be aware of who I am, and if I want to want to seek for that to continue, then I need to feed it the food that it needs to survive, which is in the eternal side of it. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, so all our needs, basically, we think about all our needs. That's why we are kind of material needs. That's one thing, bodily needs. But our human side has also a need, which we need to focus on. And again, seeking yourself, mostly just being engulfed in that kind of self-centeredness, that arrogance of being self-sufficient, seeing the solutions within by yourself, within the civilization, from science or whatever. I don't know, the leaders of the civilization, whoever one is listening to or taking their message from. And then we see that the stamp of ephemerality is upon it, definitely on the body. We see the stamp of transience, ephemerality is on it. Definitely it will be rotten in the grave without foundation. Everything else in the universe also will face the same thing. That means there is no value in taking it. The goods in this market are all rotten. That means there is no value in taking all these transient things. The goods in this market are all rotten. So pass on. The sound goods are all lined up beyond it. Ooh. So you pass on these transient goods, and this to pass means the sound goods are all lined up and beyond it, not within this transient world. That's again the part of the seeking eternity. And those are the sound goods versus rotten goods. The sound goods are all lined up beyond it. All right. Any comments on this section so far? I think we covered pretty much how, as Brother Ali mentioned, about how do we make this world, this transience, and see eternity. All right, so let's move on to the next interesting phrase. I mean, this poetry style writing. A fruit of the black mulberry. A fruit of the black mulberry. The old side spoke this with the tongue of the new side under the blessed mulberry tree. I guess he's reflecting from his thoughts in some years that he had, and then in the new understanding he gained. So let's see. The one I'm addressing isn't Zia Pasha. It's those enamored of Europe. Enamored of Europe. So he's speaking based on let's see what he says. The one I'm addressing isn't Zia Pasha. It's those enamored of Europe. The one speaking isn't my soul. It's my heart. It's my heart in the name of the students of the Quran. So I'm not sure who Zia Pasha, but maybe some author, some famous person, maybe in his time. So he's not talking to those or the ones, but he's talking to the ones enamored of Europe, basically the philosophy of materiality, maybe, and not seeing the spiritual side, not the human side, but just the temporariness and seeking pleasure and satisfaction within this temporary world. So the one the author is saying he's speaking to isn't my soul. So I imagine the soul is not the arrogant side of the human being, but it's the heart, the human side, in the name of the students of the Quran. The previous words are all truth. Beware, don't lose course, don't exceed their bounds. So the previous words, whatever we've been discussing, are all truth. Beware, don't lose course. Don't exceed their bounds. Don't lose track beyond that path. Don't exceed their bounds. Don't heed the ideas of Europe and deviate, or they'll make you regret it. So those ideas are harmful for you. Don't heed the ideas of the godless philosophy, because it distracts you and you will regret it. You see the most enlightened of them in brilliance, their standard bearer. The most enlightened of them in brilliance, their standard bearer, exclaim in bewilderment, of whom, to whom can I complain? So their most enlightened, most brilliant is bewildered by this and questions of whom, to whom can I complain? Finding a source. Source of what? Source of satisfaction, source of pleasure, source of peace. The Quran says, I say too, I won't hold back. The Quran says, and I say too, I won't hold back. I lodge my complaint with him. I lodge my complaint with him. I'm not confused like you. So he finds a place, a source to go to. So he lodges, the spirit lodges a complaint or connects with a source, and is not confused like the philosophy, the material philosophy. Brother Ali, go ahead.
As if in these lines, the author seems to be speaking in a mysterious way. We don't know what he's talking about. But in fact, if we understand the previous section that we studied today, because the previous words are all truth. It means the section we read under the title of the second station of the 17th word. Whatever is said there is true, all truth. So follow that teaching. Don't exceed the limits of those explained to you in the previous section. Okay. Europe is in general, in that time, Europe symbolized in the area where the author lived materialist philosophy or materialist understanding of the world or arrogant soul. So not the Europe as a continent. Europe is a symbol of materialist worldview. So they will make you regret it. What are we going to regret now? The most enlightened of them, in brilliance, they stand up there, exclaim in bewilderment, of whom, the most, let's say, enlightened philosophers of them, they will exclaim, it means they will really cry out in bewilderment, totally confused. Of whom to whom can I complain? Now, they reduce the word to their own nature, their own being. So, this word is killing me because I'm subject to death because of the order of this universe itself, established by itself. If I say, please, universe, give me eternal happiness, universe say, no, I'm going to kill you. And there is no other existence at all. So this matter itself cannot really address me and guarantee anything to me. If you reduce the universe to its own being, and not by not seeing its creator as a mirror, as a book, demonstrating the qualities of its author, if you don't see it, so you have to find yourself within a complete disappointment, hopelessness. That's why they cannot really say anything to any part of the world. Why did you make me in this way? You cannot communicate with them. It is complete lost of human expectations, human feelings. None of the human feelings will be satisfied by reducing the existence to the universe itself, because any time I exist in this world, I am losing my existence, and I cannot stop it. I cannot have a guaranteed future. So the following sentences will say, the Quran says, and I am a student of the Quran, a representative, not only this student, no, representative, what he understood from the Quran, in the name of the students of the Quran he is speaking. The Quran says, and I say the same thing, I say too, and I won't hold back, and because I'm not going to be ashamed of and keep quiet, I lodge my complaint with him, the creator of the universe. I'm not confused like you. Cry out is calling this materialist to the true God. I don't sleep away like you. It means, why don't you communicate with the origin, the creator of your existence? Especially, why don't you communicate with the creator of your feelings, which require eternal happiness? That's why we have to really speak to God in our personal life. Oh God, you gave me this feeling, and I took it as a promise that you are going to satisfy it. But I'm sure you are the one who created it, so you are the one who's going to satisfy it. So address all your needs, or present all your needs to the creator of the need. This is what I mean. For example, the one who created me with hunger, give me the food. And he will create the food. Nature cannot create the food. Matter cannot do anything. It has no quality to do that. It is just matter. Obeys the orders, that's it. It has no choice, no power, no knowledge. It doesn't know you. For example, even when we eat something, who distributes it? to our cells, everything, every cell of our nerves are different, cell of our blood vessels, our veins are different, cells of our heart are different, cells of our, I don't know, whatever you can think of, the material side of us. For example, nail cells are different in their existence, skin cells are different, blood cells are different, all of them are completely, brain cells are different. And who is going to distribute the thing they need, I don't know, protein or vitamin, whatever they need, in the right proportion? Who is going to distribute it? Look, I will say, oh, the creator of my liver, for example, which is wonderful. They say it functions. It works like 400 different factories, 400 different functions, just liver. And if you can look at the lump of meat, and it is created with this quality. So I eat and I say, I must say it. I must be conscious of it and say Bismillah. When I eat the food, don't say Bismillah, you gave us food and you satisfied us. No. It is just a superficial beginning of the reality. Just the beginning of the reality. Just periphery of the reality. The real reality is, oh, the creator of my liver. I am just swallowing this food that you created, and the liver needs this quality of vitamin, protein, whatever, and the things they are talking about. And I don't know how to distribute it. Since you created my liver with these qualities, can you please separate from the food whatever you have already preserved in it, or stored in the food, distribute it for me, please. That means Bismillah. That means Bismillah. Be conscious of it. We don't know afterwards what happens. All the things which we add and which are not good, also perfectly separated, refined from the useful side of it, and turn it into, when you go to toilet, what happens? Who's separating it? Who is refining it? In which factory? Stomach or our digestive system, intestines, or whatever they call it, the name. What are they? Meat, man. So we have to be very conscious of the acts of the creator and say, you created the meat for it, and I'm sure you will take care of it. I trust you. That's why I speak to him, and what was it? I cry out to the true God, the creator. Aya, you are the creator of my needs, as you demonstrated here that you are satisfying the needs of my body. That is a guarantee for me, the guarantee letter for me. You will satisfy the needs of my spirit as well, feelings as well. That's what you are telling me this. So when we really eat with Bismillah, we have to have this consciousness. When you get old, we have to have this consciousness. The most important thing is, inshallah, it will be possible when the death angel comes. You will see the good news of the creator. I am going to now satisfy the needs of your eternal happiness. And we will welcome the welcome the death angel. Welcome. Oh, we don't want just to keep away. We need to understand our reality. There are many things, many layers of reality that I need to discover. So please give me some time so that, inshallah, the more I will try. And whatever my creator says, it is time now, come. Then welcome. That is what we will say. Bismillah. So the death angel will say, what? I'm going to say Bismillah. I said, no, I'm going to join you in the name of Bismillah to enter into a new creation. So we have to get used to, while we are entering out Bismillah, while we are getting on the road Bismillah, whatever, while we are starting to do something, Bismillah, Bismillah, and while we are dying, it becomes our second nature to say Bismillah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yes. So thank you for sharing that. I cry out to the true God. I don't slip away like you. I shout my case from the ground to the skies. I don't flee like you. For all the Quran's cause is light upon light. All the Quran's cause is light upon light. I don't renege like you. In the Quran is truth and wisdom. I'll prove it. In the Quran is truth and wisdom. I'll prove it. I count as nothing hostile philosophy. So hostile philosophy has no value. Quran is truth and wisdom. In the criterion are diamond truths. In the criterion. So referring to the Quran as the criterion. Is Al-Furqan in Arabic. Are diamond truths. I take them to myself. Those truths, I take them to myself. Not sell them like you. This is very interesting. Especially in this day and age. We have to take the message to ourselves. Or when I'm reading, I have to take it to myself. Not externalizing the message to some historical event, something external. So that's how I can benefit from the truths. I journey from creation to creator. I journey from creation to creator. I don't lose the way like you. Yes, we need to get used to this, inshallah. I journey from creation to creator. I don't lose the way like you. I pass over thorny paths. I pass over thorny paths. I don't tread on them like you. I pass over thorny paths. I don't tread on them like you. From the earth to the throne, I offer thanks. I don't neglect it like you. From the earth to the throne, I offer thanks. I don't neglect it like you. Oh, wow, this is continuing. I look on death I look on death and the appointed hour as a friend. I look on death and the appointed hour as a friend. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inshallah, I hope we get to that. I'm not frightened like you. I'll enter the grave smiling, not trembling like you. I don't see it as a monstrous mouth, a beast lair, descending to nothingness like you. Something horrible, something terrible. No, no. It joins me with my friends. Death joins me with my friends. I'm not vexed at the grave like you. It's the door of mercy. The grave is the door of mercy, gate of light. Oh, portal of truth. Door of mercy, gate of light. So it's not the gate of darkness, as one would think, but it's the gate of light. It's the portal, passageway, portal of truth. I'm not discomforted by it. I won't retreat. Saying, in the name of God, I'll knock on it. I won't exclaim, alas, and flee. I'll knock on it, saying in the name of God. Basically, go for it. I'll not look behind me nor feel terror. Saying all praise be to God, I lay down and find ease. I'll suffer no trouble, nor remain solitary. Saying all praise be to God, I lay down and find ease. I'll suffer no trouble, nor remain solitary. Saying God is most great. So all praise be to God, God is most great. I'll hear the call to the resurrection and rise up. Okay, what is he saying? Let's see. I'll hear the call of Israfil on the dawn. Bring this larger. I'll hear the call of Israfil on the dawn of the resurrection, and declaring God is most great, shall rise up. I won't hold back from the great gathering and congress of prayers. I'll hear the call to the resurrection and rise up. I won't hang.
Like, excuse me, like joining the Eid prayer. Hashr, resurrection day, for the believer, although the Muslims have very bad image of resurrection day, anyways, for some reasons, I understand the innocent people's feelings, but in the eye of this author, it says, I am going to join the Eid day in the resurrection day. The resurrection day is the Eid day for me.
Wow, interesting. God is most great. I'll hear the call to the resurrection rise up, like the Eid day. I won't hang back from the great gathering or the mighty mosque. I won't hang back from the great gathering or the mighty mosque. So that's the congregation, like the Eid Jamaat, the great gathering or the mighty mosque.
He's talking about Hashr. Hashr, Yom al-Qiyamah, yeah.
Yeah, resurrection. So everybody is going to be getting together, inshallah, for the great gathering on the mighty mosque, Yom al-Hashr. I'll feel no distress. Interesting. I'll feel no distress. Thanks to divine favor. the Quran's light and the effulgence of belief. I'll feel no distress thanks to divine favor, the Quran's light and the effulgence of belief. Not stopping, I'll hasten, fly to the shade of the most merciful's throne. God willing, I won't go astray like you. MashaAllah, I think we can stop here for today, inshallah, and reflect on this. No distress, thanks to divine favor, the Quran's light and the effulgence of belief. Work on this, and then this will come, the feeling of no distress. So realizing the divine favor, seeing the light of the Quran and benefiting from the effulgence of belief. Inshallah. Any final comments by anyone? Or if you would like, we can, maybe next time we'll continue with this application. Unless somebody else has any comment on this, we'll go over. But I think we can stop for now. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka anta al-alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.